This is Dent Digest, the podcast dedicated to all things painless dent repair. From the latest techniques to cutting-edge tools, we dive into engaging discussions with renowned dent repair experts. Buckle up for industry success stories, tool reviews, and valuable insights from individuals who have mastered the art of eliminating dents without a trace. And now here's your hosts, dent repair gurus Ryan Shutt and Alex Kukulis.
What is going on? Welcome to another episode of the Dent Digest live show. How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. Yeah, man, it got cold fast. Winter came. I guess I would say it didn't come fast because we've just had really, really good weather up to this point.
Yeah.
Dang, it's cold, dude. It's
I
cold.
think I don't know, 79 today.
Oh, it's cold for you. Wearing a parka?
No. It gets like 50 at night.
Man.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten too cold yet.
It was snowing like a son of a gun last night when I was on my way home because I was over in Tyson's Corner, Virginia for a meeting. And man, when I was coming home last night, it was snowing. I was like, come on, no snow.
Wow.
Snow messes everything up here. The whole place, everything shuts down. You know, it's just like nobody can move. Even if there's nothing on the ground, people freak out. So
what's the coldest it gets there?
I mean, we've been down in the teens, down in the single digits sometimes. It won't go really below freezing.
Oh, okay.
You know, I rarely say it would be below 15 degrees or 10 or, but we've had such mild winters the last couple of years. So
yeah, not used to it.
It's like wintertime got COVID or something and just disappeared, dude. You know what I mean? It just vanished.
Yeah.
So I do got one thing. I did mail out those tech tips today. I'm sorry it's taking me so long. I've got a ton going on here. So they did get mailed out today from the giveaway. And I want to thank everybody again. Kiko, Dent Reaper, Nick
you.
Prang, A Better Bar,
Dent Vision
Tools for the giveaways. That was great. Seems like you guys bought some stuff from Ted, and I'm sure he appreciates it. But overall, business is good, dude. We are crazy busy. I mean, absolutely crazy. A lot busier than I want to be honest with you.
Yeah. It seems like it happened. Everyone I've talked to is really busy. It blew up for me this week.
Some of it, I think, it could have been the election. Everybody worried about that.
Yeah.
Some of it is just natural. Like today we had 60-mile-an-hour winds and people are coming in. Oh, wind blew a door open, hit a pole at a gas station, or my neighbor's car, my roommate. We heard so much today, and I'm like, I said to Josh, just kept scheduling. I'm like, he's like, what? I'm like the 23rd of January is our next available. Like we're just drowning here. He's like, yeah, but they're small, and I'm like, it doesn't cut it off. Like we need to slow down a little bit here.
Yeah,
and catch up. So
it's a good problem.
No, it's fantastic, man. It's there's a lot of factors there, right? Like you look at, we've been there for a little while, finally, I guess, feel established in that location, and just do a good job. I got a really good team there. I'm very, very, very lucky,
Right.
We've got our Christmas dinner Saturday, so that should be fun.
That'll be awesome.
They're all looking at me. They're like, what do we have to wear? I'm like, you gotta wear a tie. It's a fancy restaurant.
Right.
See Noah in a tie with a beard and hair he hasn't cut in 13 years. Holy
you better take a picture.
Jesus, man. But no, man, it's Bobby's easy asking about PPF removal. All I can say is good luck. There's no tips. Steamer. We use steamer, and it's not fun to do. It's definitely a business that I would stay as far away from as you can because you can get yourself in trouble just with paint damage.
Yeah. I had a retail customer last week that PPF'd the front of his 69 Camaro hood,
mhm.
and it's awesome paint job. Like, I mean, there's no orange peel in this paint job. Is no body. It looked like no body work. It was straight. And I know he had to pay like 15 grand for that paint job,
Mhm.
but he's like, "Oh, can you take this off?" Because he scratched the PPF.
Yeah.
I was like, I ain't
Yeah.
touching that, man. Like, I was like, I
No.
think he'll, pull that paint off.
It depends. I mean, if the paint's cured, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten like old BMWs with like the old 3M crappy, cracked up, faded PPF and removed the PPF and
And
it did leave a line.
yeah.
I guess because the paint is still contrasting and expanding and that line just stays there. Sometimes you can wet sand it.
I mean,
Sometimes heat.
doesn't with aftermarket paint, isn't that an issue?
Not always.
No.
Mm-mm. No, we've been pretty fortunate. Now on like the black chrome on all these new trucks,
Hmm.
if you pull the PPF off that, how it's got the the GMCs, the GMs have all that black chrome looking stuff. You peel the PPF off of that, it's coming off.
Wow. I've seen it rip off like a brand new Ram, but that's not saying much because that paint is
Yeah.
difficult.
And I'm still. We just did a. What is that new Grand? Not Grand Cherokee, but what's the other?
Wagoneer?
Bro, that car, that grays. I look at the
Oh.
customer, and I'm like, I won't even touch. I won't even glue pull it. Like I'm
Nope.
taking it apart. I don't care. And they're
Yep.
like, well, I don't understand. I said, because I'm 100. You can sign this glue pulling waiver, but I'm telling you, I'm gonna pull your paint off. I already know.
Was it like the gunmetal gray?
Yes, it's. I
Yeah.
don't even think the paint's dry.
Yeah, any of that paint, like the Chrysler Jeeps or any of that will pull paint.
Yeah.
Like just don't glue pull.
Yeah. So I do have to give a little shout out. I'm not going to mention who said something to me. I'm going to keep them quiet because I don't want to put them on blast. But I do appreciate the comments from the 200th episode. And one person reached out and really said that they appreciate that, me, you, Manny, keep it as real and authentic as we can. There's
for
no
sure.
bias. If this tool is new and it comes out and it sucks, we're going to tell you it sucks. We're not going to say you need to buy this thing because it's great because we're trying to push tools or a product. So I do appreciate him for reaching out and really, he called me and really had this conversation with me. And he's like, I just, it's just really nice to not be led the wrong way. And I was like, that's why I did this thing,
Yeah. I was wondering if we were gonna have a little logo of someone else on our screen tonight.
I'll put myself up there if you like.
Oh man, no, it's like I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell something that.
There we go.
That's a good.
There's
one
our
right
logo.
There.
There's our logo.
One.
So
we need one of Josh, like that video where Josh just, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, with the music. So I got a couple tools for Black Friday. Most of them are not here. What I did get is
what up, Corey?
Dent Vision paddle because I'm a paddle guy. I wanted to give it a whirl.
Do you like it?
I actually really do.
Nice.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I love the Scott Grimes paddle. That's dear to my heart. Probably one of the best paddles on the market. But this takes a lot of the shock out of it. Do you know what I mean?
It does.
It really absorbs a lot here. I didn't use the extension as much. I like it kind of shorter. I'm not really using this to blend.
You can put tips on it, can't you?
Yeah, it's got a threaded tips on it.
Nice.
And I really like the shape of the handle. It's kind of, you can't see a darn thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like flat on each side and it's got a threaded end. You could put a ball in there.
Nice.
But it really takes a lot of the impact. I felt like I didn't feel it in my hand as much.
Yeah.
It's a great product. And
goes with his
I beat the hell out of this thing. You know what I mean? And It's not like rock hard. It's almost like a little rubbery, soft feeling.
Really?
It's awesome. It's a great tool.
I just saw tonight. I saw before the show. I saw he came out with his
The
window
wedges.
wedges.
Yeah,
I bet you it's the same material.
I'm sure it is.
You know,
You know,
those look pretty cool.
I do like his knockdown. I've got a little problem with mine. I bought it from Anson, and the powder coat is coming off of it and sticking in the middle of it, so it gets kind of bound up on itself.
Yeah.
But I did like using it while it was working correctly.
Mine's all aluminum, and I've never had a problem with it.
Yeah, it just like went up inside of it. I think we talked about it on the show when we had them. Yeah. Another thing I did get.
Corey says put a ball on the end of it and it makes it that much better.
Oh, at the handle.
Yep.
It really does. It absorbs the energy, man. It does a great job. It really does. I'm really shocked.
I can't wait to get my hands on his wedges. They like stick together.
Do you know this tool?
What is that tool? That tool don't work.
This tool is total shit. But no, to be honest with you, you've been hounding me all week. Put it on a door and push a quarter size dent. I said, Alex, we got a problem. He's like, what's that? I said,
I don't get door dings.
I don't get door dings. Everything I get is smashed.
No, I said, you don't ever do a smash with the door on? And you're like, no. I was like,
I'm old, dude. I put them all.
You have Mikey. Hands. Mikey just rips the door right off. You know?
Yeah, we take them off all the time. Really good job.
You like it?
Yeah, I was using it today. Aluminum door, brand new Silverado with hail, like all at the top. And if you take the door apart, there's big ovals up there at the top of the door. It's open. Pushed really clean. It did. There was some big, good shots in the top of this door. It's black.
Mm-hmm.
It pushes really nice. I'm very shocked.
How simple it is.
It doesn't. I was dragging a little bit with it in that door. It does a nice job. And I'm not just saying this after what I just said about tools, and it's not because you're my buddy. I'm going to tell you
that was my idea, so you might be a little biased.
It does do a good job. It does. I'd love to fix a quarter size dent. So if any of my customers are watching, and you have a quarter size dent, I'll fix it for half price. Just because I would love to fix a quarter size dent.
Right.
But no, it does do a good job. I used it in the fender also. Because it's up like where the antenna is by the cowl. I could get this up in there enough to it was shaved enough to fit up inside there in between that upper rail. We did get these also. I have not used these yet. And that's the 3D tool by Cliff and the Dent Reaper.
I haven't used it either.
The other thing I think these will be good for, motorcycle tanks.
The Kratos?
No.
Mine's the Kratos.
Yeah, the Kratos. I do think this would be good for motorcycle. It's got limited, but it's thick.
There's
got a good size to it. And I like the softer push. So but the 3Ds I have not tried, but as soon as I can, I will.
It's a cool tool. I like it a lot.
But I also got a new Eliminate light. All the attachments for the JVF tool from Jonathan. So, the body line attachments, the edge of the door attachment, the short tabs. So I'm excited for those because we use those. We've been using that JVF tool more and more and more. And I struggled. I had that really bad. And I don't think I post a finished picture of that. I will tomorrow.
The Rivian?
Yeah, the Rivian smashed gate.
I saw it. It came out great.
What's
up, Don? Corey.
It was on a body line, so it was hard to figure out exactly how I was going to stretch it there. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you, as an older guy, and Steven can contest to this, I remember getting in there and just muscling those dents out, you know, just like cranking and goddamn, you wake up the next day, you're like, man, I hurt like hell. I'm getting old for this. That lateral tension, I used a motorcycle tool in that lift gate, in that tailgate.
Yeah.
And it just, bro, it was so soft.
Right.
Like Mikey looked at me, he was, because I always have, when I use that tool, I always have a second pair of hands. I don't trust, if that thing comes off, it's destroying some stuff, right?
Yeah.
So Mikey was there and he's like, it didn't take any time, like any muscle. And I'm like, it didn't. It came out amazing. Like I was just shocked how great that was. And I was like, I need to start using this more often. Sometimes it looks like it's over the top for the repair.
Yeah. It's super nice tool. I mean, it is built over the top, but
if somebody could come up with an instant glue gun, like that just doesn't stop pumping, they would sell 1 million of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they would.
If you could just keep pumping glue.
I'm pretty sure there's people trying to like solve that problem.
It's got to be.
That's why Manny's always using the glue pot still.
Oh,
you know,
Jesus.
He's always using the glue pot.
We have a local guy here that uses that same type of thing, glue pot thing. And
it makes sense to like take a spatula and just smear it on those feet. I
get it, but still, it's something with heating an element, cooling it down, heating an element. You're losing something there,
right?
But
Jeff,
I don't know.
Asked if the Kratos tool is a true 18. I don't know. It's 24 and 18. The 18-inch kind of seems a little shorter to me, though.
So this one's an 18?
The shorter one's supposed to be 18. The bigger one's 24.
Good pick on size.
Yeah. That was all John.
It is nice that it's thicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It did push nice. He's been in my ass for a week saying, you try it yet? You try it yet?
Well, I knew you'd tell me the truth.
No,
it
does do a good job. It does. For what I used it in today, it did a nice job. Also ordered more of the Willie Quit tabs. I really like the tabs. Yeah, I like them.
Tried them.
They head stretch,
and
they do break. So, like the first batch that I've run through, I've broken and gone through, but they pull
as long as they work.
They pull like a freight train. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, they work fantastic.
Who made those tabs? Did Kiko make them?
I don't think so. It's a different material.
Okay.
I like how it's like concaved on it. Like if you look at it, it's square, but it's concave, so it holds that glue and really, I mean, it pulls. It's a great tab. I like having a variety of tabs. You know, I'll use the Reapers, I'll use the Dead Centers, I'll use those. But that tab, it pulls different. It does pull different, but there's a couple of them that are about this long. You know, the head just keeps pulling out of it like bubble gum. But everyone, Josh said the same thing. I would buy him again in a second. He broke every one that he bought. He was like, I would buy another one in another second. So, but what else did I get?
Corey says he uses a wax warmer instead of a glue pot, but that loses strength, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to do something with the value, you know, when you're heating something and cooling it down. But it's just glue. You know, I'm still running with green and perfect pull.
Yeah.
The perfect pull is really what we use for the, you know, JVF tool. We use that a ton. Yeah. It's crazy because I run, I guess, 4 or 5 glue guns on my cart, like regular glue guns that work with batteries, you know, like ants and glue guns, whatever they were. And then we have a corded cam auto gun. And when we're loading that thing, man, we're pumping sausages, stop, go to the next one, sausages, stop, move to the next one.
Dude, you know that Amazon glue gun you yelled at me for buying?
Yeah.
It's $25, dude.
You are Greek.
People could say whatever they want, but it works just as good as like any other one that's not collision.
Jesus.
I'll have 3 of them, and I haven't broken one, dude. Not one. They've dropped. They don't break. And I just have 3 guns for those JVF feet. Like, and it works.
That corded cam auto gun is badass.
I got 3 of those glue guns, $75, and I solved the problem.
You're right.
That's simple.
Can't help it. You're Greek.
You can get a Makita one, a Duwop, and a Makita.
Oh shit! All right, well let's get our guest on. I'm excited to have him on because this year we've kind of really grown in the motorcycle tank business here. Really since I opened the shop, we got more. But I don't know if it's because when we were doing them before, I didn't have the vise, I didn't have the tools, and I just hated them, and I kind of blew them off, and I would always send them to Steve. So
he's also one of the nicest dudes I've met in the industry, man.
Look at that. He may not even come on after you're talking so nice about him.
He is.
What's up, Stephen Hamby?
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
so that's why I've done less tanks this year. I already
I'm sorry. I'm gonna buy you dinner at MTE.
Awesome.
Hey, but I can say that group on Facebook, the motorcycle group, has definitely helped.
Yeah.
Any of you guys, Tori, I'll reach out to him. I'll be like, hey, I need some help with this. And he'll FaceTime me and be like, okay, we'll do it this or set it up that way, or let me know if you need something. So that community of that stuff is super cool. So there's a lot of information on that Facebook group.
Well, that was the idea, just because when you get into tanks and there's so many little nuances, how to mount, you get like a sport bike or something like that, trying to mount that is a pain.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of had the idea of putting albums for each type of tank.
Yeah.
So that if you have a bike, you can go and search the albums, and if anybody's done one and posted it, you don't have to sit there and struggle with that for 30 minutes trying to figure it out,
Yeah, it's super helpful. Just a quick guide. If you need something, let me see if they have it. I was just talking about Tori's fender mounting bracket. Like, I think it was 2 years ago, I got the crowns that mount on top. They've been fantastic to use.
Yeah.
But let's get into you a little bit. How long have you been pushing?
I'm probably edging 25 years now.
Wow.
Like, did you self-taught? Did you get trained? How did it all start?
My dad taught me, actually. So my dad's an old Dent Wizard guy. Like, he got into working with Dent Wizard in the early to mid 90s. And he ended up splitting off from them and started his own company back in 2002. And I can't even remember how, at what point I really went from just tinkering to like pushing more actively. But I mean, I was 15 in the garage with a hood on a hood stand. My dad was like, X's and O's, and here's how you read your light. And this was back with the fluorescent tubes with like a strip of cardboard,
Yeah.
So, it's funny. Like, I think back to like using we'd go to Home Depot and we'd buy these Lexan plastic boards. And we would spray paint them like neon yellow and then take a black straight. Yeah. Just, I thought my repairs were phenomenal back then. I wish I could go back in time now and like look at those repairs with like the lights that we have now.
Bought me a dinking set when I was in high school. He owned a body shop and came with that 4-foot fluorescent light.
There you go.
That's it.
I did amazing repairs with that. I'm just going to hold to that.
This is a
whatever works.
Dent Wizard. I think Stucky is the one that painted the lines on these.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, hey,
do
we
you
made
still
a
have
lot of money with these.
2x4 foot for it?
Sit down. I actually have another one that's like really long, and there was just a panel cut in the 2x4, and you would put it down in there. It would stand it up, and you could put it 30 foot away. But this did really good, man. But the minute
these new guys don't know how good they have it, do they?
No.
I said that the other day. I was talking to somebody. I said, technology, man.
Yeah.
Technology.
Dude, that fluorescent light, a couple years ago, I tried to use it just because I was training my brother.
Yep.
So I don't know how I fixed anything with that light. Like,
I remember
You
getting
know?
my first Illuminant light, and I was like, turn it on. I was like, holy shit!
HD.
It's like HD television.
Mhm.
Right.
But yeah,
What
so
light-
I started pushing with my dad when I was 15, tinkering around, and I was working with him as a summertime job. You know, he was a door dinger on the lots and stuff, and I would drive cars back to him, and then it was safe because if I screwed something up, he could fix it.
Yeah.
And just kind of grew up doing that. So I never had any, formal training other than just working with my dad. And then, did that through high school as a summer job and then college working part-time doing that. And then I graduated and then went full-time pushing in '06. So I had been pushing a little bit before that, but,
What'd you go to college for?
I got a 4-year degree in business management.
Oh,
So
so that helps.
yeah,
Business.
it's one of those things where I feel like it was just more of a learning experience and you just
Mhm.
kind of grow as a person going through that. And honestly, a lot of my PDR business mindset came from watching podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, when PDR college,
Yeah.
I was watching all those podcasts and getting super deep into it and, listening to what other guys have done and implemented in their business and how it's worked for them and just kind of modeling that.
Mhm.
A lot of that really shaped, my mindset and everything. So the school helped and everything, but I think that just kind of was like, I
Yeah.
don't think it really took off until I started implementing it,
Yeah.
listening to other guys.
And figuring out,
The PDR college one was like, in my opinion, the best one.
Mhm.
Hmm.
They went through everything,
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that was
there's
definitely,
a lot of podcasts these days.
Yeah.
There's
Well, that's good. There's
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
when to listen
information.
to.
yeah, because we didn't have that back in the day.
No.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything. You had doording.com, but that was like the newest thing, but we didn't have all the information. You had to figure it out on your own or live by your old standards. It took me a long time to step up and get some new. I'm like, I don't need tools. We're good.
When I
The
was, what were you saying?
older you get, I'm realizing that you have to buy some of these tools because it's so much easier on the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you were getting in the business, were you mainly wholesale, retail, or what were
Wholesale.
you? Wholesale. Okay.
Yeah. We're still mainly wholesale.
Okay.
Okay.
If you break down percentage wise, I mean, we're at least 80 to 85% wholesale, I'd say,
Okay.
Okay.
How are you dealing with some of these big companies coming in that have the all-in-ones? Have you started seeing those pop up in your area?
Doesn't
yeah.
work.
How's that going?
Usually the places that I see as potential to lose to one of those is your big franchise stores, or not
Mhm.
franchise stores, your big,
Yeah.
your big chain stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's something for that, the management there that they're just like, I just want the convenience of dealing with one person.
Mhm.
Right. In one
So it really
check.
comes down to a laziness on their part. They just want the convenience.
Yeah.
The guys that are doing those types of business models here typically it's one of those like we do everything, but we don't really specialize in everything. We specialize
Yeah.
in maybe one or two things.
Yeah.
And luckily for me in my area, most of the guys that are all in one are mostly paint companies that are trying to incorporate PDR here, wheels here, which wheels is, I mean, kind of in the paint category
Yeah.
too. But most of them don't have an abundance of dent guys,
Yeah.
So I actually work some accounts that have the companies that do the all-in-one, but they just have a painter there.
Yeah.
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 Only reason I'm saying that is it just happened to me. I've had an
Yeah.
account I've been in, I guess, 15 or 16 years, and they wiped out their employees in the detail section, fired them on Monday, fired every vendor but me.
Yeah.
And we
Really?
were kind of like, what is going on? Like what? We
So
didn't get work.
So you're still there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the manager came and, I was like, is everything okay? And he's like, you've got a lot of allies at this dealer. They just got bought, so it's a new regime in there. It's a new manager, and he's like, you've got a lot of allies in this place. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, everybody in the meeting. When I was talking about doing this, they're like, you're not getting rid of Ryan. You're not.
Wow.
They show up. They do what they need to do. They help us when they can help us. They're fair on their price. He's been here forever. We trust him. He's like, I don't know what you're paying them, but you're doing a fantastic job. But I mean, this company doesn't do PDR. They do everything else but PDR. So
I had a similar situation happen with me a few years ago at a Toyota dealer. It was one of my biggest dealers, and they got bought out too. Well, hang on, let me back up. So the company that ran that dealership had a recon, like whoever owned it, their relative had a recon company that was doing all of their recon work at another dealership.
Okay.
Well, that recon company ended up coming into this Toyota dealership, and everybody got kicked out but me because they didn't have a PDR guy.
Yeah.
And I ended up, because I didn't want to lose this account, I ended up subcontracting for them for a year. And the pay was just like, I mean, it was bad, but I knew what that dealer had been historically, and I knew things change all the time. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to ride this out, see what happens. If this drags for a really long time, if something better comes up, I'll bail out. But until something better comes up, I'm going to stick it out and see what happens. They were there for a year. And then after that whole dealership got bought by somebody else, and they all got kicked out, and I was still there. So it's like I rode this storm and ended up staying there. And, it's still one of the best accounts that we have as a company. So,
it's the only dealer that I have. So it's not a big deal if we lose it, but for me, it's kind of
it hurt.
15 or 16 years ago, it was kind of like I made a point to fight to get that account. It was just like my pinnacle point where I was like, I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
So for me, it's, I guess, I don't know if it's a pride thing or, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but
that happened to me. The detail company came in, got into all these Larry Miller dealerships, and they tried to get me to contract them. They tried to get me out of there, but then they wanted me to work for them, and I wouldn't do it. And they, I won. They never took it from me, but
I guess
the new owners of that dealership.
If you can do big damage too.
Yeah.
And I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm not making big damage perfect for a dealer. I'm making it to where a customer that's never seen it's not going to notice it. But a seasoned dent guy's going to tell, oh, that had a really bad dent in it or whatever. But if you can pull off a repair like that, most of the one-stop shop guys, their dent guys can't, because a dent guy that can do that is going to probably have his own business or be working for himself. He's not going to be hitching his wagon to something like that. I don't think, I could be wrong, but
and it's crazy. The averages must work out for some of those guys. Cause I think they were like $400 a car to detail it, window sticker, interior wheels.
Are they doing that every car, whether that it's a package? Yeah.
So that average must work out. But I don't know. Used cars these days are beat, dude. I mean, they're not what they used to be.
Right.
So, but how did you get into the motorcycle deal? Like, that's your pinnacle here. You've done really, really well.
So I guess, I mean, I've been riding motorcycles for a while. I had a few buddies that had them, so I was kind of in the culture, so to speak. And, flipping through an Ultra magazine one day, saw the motorcycle tools and was curious about it, interested in it. And at the time I think Daniel Grom was the only person I knew who was doing it. So, and at the time my dad still owned the company. He's actually retired now, but, I approached him with the idea. I was like, hey, I'd like to get into this. And he was like, no, we're not doing that. For every 10 tanks someone asks you about, you'll fix one of them, and was just super against it. And I'm stubborn. So I just kept on, poking him and pushing at it and everything. And he said, you know what, if you want to do it, that's fine. Just do it yourself. It'd be your thing. You do it yourself. And I said, okay. Because in my opinion, the startup cost, if you're already a PDR guy, you've already got the skills. You don't need any training. You just are getting into a different aspect of PDR. It's not a lot of money to get started with the tools. I mean, to go all in with the vise and the tools, you're not talking a lot.
$3,000,
Yeah,
2,500.
yeah. So what I did is I bought a tank off eBay. I bought a Kawasaki Vulcan tank for like 50 or $60, and bought the vise, installed it, and started denting a tank and fixing it, and until I got comfortable with it. And then I was like, okay, now I'll take on a paying customer. So I started doing a little bit of advertising online. And the first tank I got was a Harley tank, and I had been pushing a Kawasaki Vulcan tank, and I was new to tanks, so I didn't realize the difference in the thickness of the metal. So I had been putting, I don't know, about a dent, a little bit bigger than an egg, in that Kawasaki tank and fixing it and denting it, fixing. I was like, oh, this ain't bad. And then I got a Harley tank with a dent the size of like a dime, and it was right on the curve, you know.
Mhm.
So I'm like, man, I'll have this out in like 5 minutes. This thing's not going to be a problem. And it took me 3 hours to fix it
Yeah.
that first time. And I was like, oh my God, like this is rough. But it's a learning curve, like with anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, in my opinion, I don't think new guys that are still like in the training phase, trying to hone their skills, need to be even considering motorcycles. I think it really takes somebody who's seasoned, veteran, whatever word you want to throw at it, to get into stuff like that, because there's just so many nuances and so many challenges to it and everything. So yeah, it's my opinion.
And I've realized doing more that we have, that it's one of those jobs to where when you start it, you have to be in it. Like, you can't step away and come back and be interrupted. Like, you really have to, you're putting constant heat on it. It's getting hot. You need to be in it and doing it. That's my biggest problem. That's why we do them on the weekends and nights, just because so many things for us going on in the shop, people coming in, people asking questions, and
and your clientele is real specific on these too, because
yes,
there's not too many people that are like, oh yeah, this is my daily commuter, this just gets me from point A to point B. Like, these are their babies.
Yeah.
So you're going to have very particular customers with motorcycles.
They're basically all like collectors, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you'll have collectors, and then you got the guy that's like, this is my one toy, this is my one vice that I have, and I want it to be perfect, and it's got a dent in it, and I can't stand it, and they're probably not going to be happy with a subpar repair.
Yeah.
So I feel like you got to bring out your A game on some of the bikes, just because of the clientele, and some of the tanks are super expensive.
Yeah.
CVO tanks and things like that. I mean, I've seen people tell me, oh, that tank was going to be $5,000 to replace that tank. Like, gosh, I really undersold that job.
Yeah. And they don't realize it, sometimes it takes you an hour to mount it. It'll take you a little, I say we're MacGyvers. You know what I mean? It's sometimes you have to get up and go to the hardware store and get something that's going to work with that specific tank, or but
is Ultra still the only one that sells the device?
I don't even
as
see
far
it on
as
the website.
I just ordered
on their website.
I just ordered a tool from them today, like just a one of the rods, because I tore up one of my rods.
Yeah, I use
the new one, not the all aluminum vise.
Okay, I use the motorcycle tool, the triple bend, and like almost kicks up.
Yeah,
I use that on almost every Corolla body line. If you do a Toyota store, the Corolla body line, how it goes further. You take that molding off, that tool is.
It's funny. I've never used a motorcycle tool on a car, and I've talked to many guys who have. And it's basically because I have the tools in my shop at the house, right near all the motorcycle stuff, so it just stays there, and I don't carry it with me.
Yeah.
But I've thought about, just keeping them in the car.
If you do a Toyota store, get that tool out and try it on a sharp body line off a Corolla.
Yeah.
So, because that brace goes down like this far past the body line, but it's wide.
Right.
So it works great.
That whole set's a good set. That moto set is a really good, mix of tools. And
I do like Ultra tools.
I always tell guys that are getting into it, just go all in and get everything, because when I see, and I'm not trying to, talk bad about anybody, but when I see guys struggling to like mount a tank to like wood, like they're bolting it down and all this stuff. Like me personally, there's no way I would advertise and try to get into tanks if I didn't have that vice. Just knowing what that offers and the ease of using that, I'd never want to use anything else. It would
I
just
did
not
it
be
on the
worth the
floor.
hassle.
I would put them in a shipping blanket with a piece of foam and work on in between my legs when I, because it wasn't my thing. If a friend of mine needed it or something, I would do it. But now it's like, they'll walk through the door and they're like, Ryan, it's another guy with a tank. And I'm like, oh, shit.
So funny story. The very first tank that I did, I was at a car dealership. Guy rides his motorcycle to the dealership, shows me a little teeny, it was smaller than a dime, little flicker on top of his tank. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that, man. This was before I really started looking into it. And he said, well, why? And I said, man, the access is crap. I said, I just can't do it. And he said, well, look, I'm a metal worker. And what if I can make you a tool that'll get inside the tank right to where that dent is? Could you fix it then? And what do you say? I was just like, yeah, probably, I guess. Sure. The next week, the dude comes back with like a piece of rebar that he had like bent into shape and ground the end of it to make a dull end and everything. And he was like, go ahead, put it in there. So he puts it in the fuel opening and pushes. And dude, it's like right at the dent, like right at it. So I'm just like, all right, well, it's summertime. It's hot already. So I didn't have to worry about heating the tank. So I pushed the dent out and everything. And the guy goes, would you take the tool as payment? And I still have it. I'll have to show you guys sometime because it's just rusted. It looks horrible. But I was just like, yeah, man, that's fine. I don't care. I just couldn't believe that happened.
Yeah.
That's
so I was like,
story.
well, I fixed my first tank. Might as well buy the tools and dive in, I guess.
Wow.
Josh has asked him, which vice do you prefer, version 1 or version 2?
If I had to only use one, it'd be version 1.
Which one is that?
That's the black one that you can rotate that one.
Okay.
I like version 2. I like them both. I like version 2 because you got the other foot, which I guess technically you could buy another foot and put it at the end of version 1 to make it like a double base where you got 2 posts.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the convenience of being able to mount a tank, just undo those 2 screws and just rotate it over. Like we were talking before we went live, we were talking about body position and stuff like that. And being able to work a tank laid over on its side instead of having to, crane over to do it, that's a big thing for me.
So I think my version 2, you just have to unbolt that front leg and it'll tilt. Is that correct? I think so.
There's probably a way to set it up that way because I know it does come with. There's a certain bracket that looks like it has a pivot on it.
Yeah.
So there's probably a way to set up. In fact, I think Brandon Schmitz has actually sent me photos of his setup because I think he does that. I just have never gone and done it. The only reason I have a version 1 and a version 2 is because I would end up getting multiple tanks at the same time, and I just wanted to have 2 going. I'd mount one on one and one on the other, so they were just done, and I could move from one to the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see. So I guess you did some terrible crease in your one you just posted or something everybody's talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a Harley tank. The guy reached out to me back in September and sent me pictures of it, and I could tell that there was paint damage and it was just nasty. Basically, if you've ever seen where like somebody is towing a bike in a trailer and they've got it strapped down, like a strap breaks and the bike falls over in the trailer, a lot of times the tank will whack the side of the metal railing and it'll put like a super nasty long crease in it. It was that type of damage, except inside his crease, instead of it being a long smooth one, it had like 5 or 6 individual like sharp dents within the crease. And I found out later, the video that I posted, I say it fell in a trailer. He had it in the back of his truck and it fell over and hit one of those diamond plate toolboxes. So it creased it, but all the little diamonds in the diamond plate imprinted in the tank, basically.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
So it was nasty. But I told him that I didn't know if I could fix it. I know I have a painter locally that is pretty good, does pretty good with Harley. He does paint work for several of the Harley dealers. And it was just a vivid black tank. So it's basic black with a silver pinstripe. It'd have been an easy paint job if we had to go that route. So I just told the customer, I gave him his quote, and I said, look, I said, if I can fix it with PDR, because he wanted to keep it original. I said, if I can fix it with PDR, this is your quote. This is what you're going to pay me. I said, if I can't fix it all the way, I'll get it as close as I can. I've got a painter who can skim it, paint it. You're still going to owe the same amount, except I'm going to now be splitting it with him, with the painter. And so I told him that in September. I think he went and started looking for an OEM tank to try to just replace the tank and couldn't ever find one. So then he reached out to me and he shipped it to me, and it got to me just before Thanksgiving. And I didn't want to, once I get something that bad, like it's sitting out there and it's like hovering over me. I'm like, I've got to get this done.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and fixed it like before Thanksgiving and everything, because I didn't want it to get into the holiday season and have that out.
How long did it take you?
I'd say push time probably 3 to 4 hours, because I was stopping to video and trying to document it and everything, and the whole time not even knowing. You start some of these repairs, you don't know if it's going to turn out.
Yeah.
So I'm videoing it just like please let this turn out. So I'm not videoing all this for nothing.
It's funny. Before the show, I was saying that we couldn't, I've never gotten into motorcycle tanks in Arizona. I was like, I don't know if that price range I could get that here. And then you're like, I think it's from Arizona.
Yeah. So I've done this in the last 2 weeks. I've done 3 retail tanks, and I've done 2 fenders in a tank from a dealer that were all shipped in. And I'm pretty sure the last one I did was that black tank, and I'm pretty sure it was Gilbert, Arizona is where that was from.
That's awesome.
So, but most of the jobs are shipped in. I have virtually no local motorcycle work.
There's a big motorcycle scene in Arizona. They have Bike Week in Cave Creek every year.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of Harley shops here.
Yeah. When I started getting into it, I thought I was going to get all of the local work. Like I was going to the Harley dealers. I had flyers printed out. I was handing them out and everything. And I got a few, but it's the mentality that I was finding. And I know this is not everywhere, but it was no different than a car body shop most of the time, except for them. They were like, if they can sell a customer a tank, they're going to make a bigger margin. So they just didn't want to do the repairs unless they screw something up. Then it's like, come save us type of thing, So I'm pretty sure every repair I've done has been a self-inflicted, damage that the tech did or something like that.
Wow.
So the vast majority of them are all retail, and they're all shipped in to me.
Okay. Now, how do you work that? You do a self-paid return slip? You make them do that, or?
Yep.
Yeah.
I tell them. I know we were talking earlier about the turnaround, because I do it here at my house. I do it in the weekends and evenings. I tell them about a 2-week turnaround, and I tell them ship it however you want. I have the best luck with UPS personally, but ship it however you want. Put a 3-page return label in the box, and when I'm done, I'll shoot you some videos, pictures, stick the sticker back on, ship it off, and that's it.
Do you get paid before you ship it back to them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some people that if I've dealt with them multiple times, I might ship it and then get their card later in the day. But if it's someone I've never dealt with, I always get something up front, just because once it leaves,
you might never.
What are you going to do if they decide to stiff you?
Yeah.
So,
right. Are you guys doing a class or anything at MT this year?
Not this year. No, me and Tori talked about it, and I don't know. I thought the class was pretty good last year. It was a good turnout. There was a lot of people there. There's more people than I thought, to be honest. And some good information. I don't know. This year I'm going down there, but I kind of want to just chill. Every time I touch my face, a little thumbs up pops up on the screen. Is that happening for you guys too?
No.
Say that again. No, only you. Only
me.
Yeah.
I don't get anything cool.
We're not that cool.
It doesn't do it when I give a thumbs up.
No, it just did.
It's just making me out to be a damn liar.
Look at that.
It's got to be Ryan messing with you.
It's not me, I promise, because I'm not getting the cool thumbs up.
Yeah, but you're
Ryan would get a
you're
thumbs
triggering
down.
that would.
Yeah, thumbs down, Ryan.
God damn.
Thumbs down.
It's Ryan.
I get
I just
nothing.
noticed that I rub my face and then it pops up. I'm like,
Thumbs up.
Yep.
It just gave you a thumbs down.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Brandon
Brandon
it's
said
on-
it's on Apple. That's
Yeah.
that's fine.
What up, Brandon?
What is your plan there? Are you trying to go mainly all motorcycle tank stuff? Or are you still just keep doing wholesale and motorcycle stuff on the side?
I mean, I'm still doing wholesale mainly. The motorcycle's been on the side. If it gets to a point where, say, I'm ready to quote unquote retire or whatever, I'm tired of running route, something like that, then yeah, I'll push it a little bit more and just be at the house all the time and just do it as kind of like a, I know that at that point it'll be just, I don't really need the money. I'm just doing it for the fun of it. And it's,
Yeah.
I'm retired, but I don't want to sit on the couch and vegetate and, waste away. I want something to do. So at that point I'll do that. But yeah, I mean, we're really busy with our wholesale. I mean, and the retail side too. I mean, I've got 2 guys that work for me, and all 3 of us are doing wholesale, and I basically do all the retail. So any retail calls they get, any we get through the website, because I do have a website and it's all, a market through that. I basically handle all that. So I'll go do the dealerships, and then if retail people can meet me there, or I try to schedule these retail people for when I'm already in that area servicing some lots. And I was like, oh, well, you live in this area. Well, I do a dealer 30 minutes from there. When I'm done, I'll come to your house. Just try to be smart logistically to get it done.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
Yeah.
What is your go-to glue?
There's a lot of glues that I like. I was really like a tab weld guy for a long time. That was like my go-to. I still love tab weld. Right now, I think I've got some Anson collision glue that I've been using.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I'm really not like a glue snob.
Mhm.
There's some stuff that I've like tried that like just didn't work.
Yeah.
But I find that, barring temperature differences, like if it's like super cold, something like that, temperature's good. I mean, if I'm controlling the temperature of the panel, I'm prepping it right, I can get anything to pull, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Some stuff pulls better than others. I've got my preferences, but I've got so many different types of glue that when I run out, honestly, I don't even look. I just grab a stick and throw it in there and just run whatever it is.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Now, are you
Yeah.
more of a A1 and a Ultra? What is your go-to? What's mostly in your toolkit?
Who I buy from most of the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
I usually buy from Anson primarily.
Okay. Okay.
Just I like the convenience. It's you can get just about everything you need.
It is pretty
you know,
nice.
It's nice to be able to go and just get everything you need, one shipment, one
Yeah.
payment. I mean, there are some things that they don't carry that I might, source somewhere else, but most of the everyday stuff I use, I can get there.
Yeah. Their app is pretty awesome. Do you use their app? It's just
that's why I have so much glue, because if you
pretty
buy on the
dangerous.
app certain months, they send you a free bag of glue.
Yep.
If you buy through the app, I don't know how many bags of glue I got. I could probably start selling glue back to them at this point.
Right.
It is convenient. Their app is very
nice.
convenient.
Yeah.
I was actually using their slide and glide, like dead on dent tip. I think Anson makes it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want them to make a 3/8 one for like 3/8 tools, because that tip is awesome. Do you use that in motorcycle tanks? It's a little shorter. It's black, oval.
I don't
It's called
think
the
so.
slide and glide. Slide.
I don't
and
think
glide.
so. Mm-mm.
It's money. You should try it.
So the tips that I use most are like if I'm trying to push out something that's big, soft, whatever, I've got that rubber hockey puck that I'll use on, if it's not like hard metal, if it's flatter and it's a little bit more flexible. But if I need to really push something that I still need a soft tip, but it can't like give, I'll use those Dent Craft, the real big fat mushrooms with the red coating on them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
I'll
think
use
the-
that.
red coating is different than the blue coating.
I think
We
the red
tried
coating's harder than the blue.
Yeah,
Harder.
the red's harder.
Yeah. See, there you go. I touched my face again. Yeah, I use that the red coating. That's what I used to start that crease on that black tank. I started
Okay.
with the red and then worked my way down to now Ultra does have a really good soft tip with the red caps.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen
Yes.
the tip. The tip has like the channel cut in the side so the cap really bites on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that on motorcycle tanks. So I use that, and then I work my way down into like the root beer tips. I've got the phenolic tips, match grade tips. I use all of those for like finishing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
Now, are you using that nylon piece that Ultra sells for like the gas opening so you don't tear that up?
I tore mine up a long time ago, and I have not
Yeah.
replaced it. You're talking about the
Okay.
little like it's like a wing, long
Yeah.
black thing that slips down in
They
it.
all break.
Mine broke a long time ago, and I just didn't, I didn't replace it. I have not really messed up any openings or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like even on the Harleys, when you go down inside, if the collar that goes down and then the actual hole, if I
Mhm.
misshape that, I've got a pair of gator grip pliers that are like they flatten like that.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just go down there just like a hole straightener and work my way around it, and it flattens it
Yeah.
all back out. So
It's the grip-on pliers, isn't it?
grip on, yes, grip
Yeah,
on.
from Amazon.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Those are
I
money.
bought them just for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you'll bend it a little bit. Those things work
Yeah.
fantastic. I think I
Yeah.
got it from
My-
you guys
My buddy
talking about it.
Jeff showed me that in Arizona. He's like, I started using them for like the blowout on fenders. You could use them fix
Yep.
sunroofs, anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a must-have.
If you have one tip for a new tech, what would it be?
For motorcycles or just
For
in general?
Anything.
EDR General.
One tip for a new tech. You got to get plugged in, I think. Plugged into podcasts, go to MTE. I feel like that's when my career really took off. And,
Mhm.
when I went from just kind of being like every other guy in the area to trying to get the edge on some guys that are maybe not plugged in and not listening to other guys' success stories.
Yeah.
My dad was never like into going to MTE.
Mhm.
I don't think he ever went. And and he'd be like, "Oh, just a bunch of dent guys talking about how much money they make and stroking each other's ego." And
I mean,
So
he's
that
not
was-
wrong. He's not
yeah, I
wrong.
know. There's
There's a big ego thing.
There's some of that happens, but I don't know, man. I mean, when I went and just sitting around talking to guys and realizing that the mindset that whole rising tide lifts all boats mindset, I felt like that was a lot more prevalent than I thought it was going to be.
Mhm.
Because I mean, when you're not in that and you're at a lot, and let's say another dent guy shows up at the lot or something like that, and you're just like, oh God, who's that guy? And you're just like, it's the enemy, and we're all out here trying to make a living. We're all trying to, do our best work. And, he's got just as much a right to succeed as I do. And, if we can help each other, there's actually a dealership that I service that has an in-house dent guy. And I met him and we actually collaborate on the lot, even though he's got his own thing. He'll tell me what cars he didn't get to. I'll tell him what cars I didn't get to.
That's cool.
And what's good about it is I've used him for hail. I've had him come and do hail damage stuff for me. He sends me all of his like retail stuff, and anything that he doesn't feel comfortable messing with, I'll take it, and we just kind of have a good relationship there. And I just feel like a lot of that mentality at MTE was good for me.
Yeah.
You can listen to guys, you can trust guys, especially when they're not in your market. You can listen, well,
Yeah.
this is what I did here, and here.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I think that's my biggest tip. Just share information.
That's wild. You have an in-house. I hired an in-house dent guy. Just almost same story. He worked for me for 5 years, and we're still great friends.
Mm-hmm.
It got to that time where I was like, I had to force him to get his own LLC.
Right.
And just like, I was like, just take what these dealers over. Like, you've worked for me for 5 years. Like, I want
Yeah.
you to succeed, you know?
It's cool because this guy he's getting close to the like retirement, phase of
Okay.
life, and he's such a good guy and good personality and everything, and we've often talking joked and it's been like, man, like if we could have just like met maybe like 10 years ago.
Right.
Because he's told me, he's like, I would come work for you in a heartbeat. He's like, if I
Yeah.
wasn't, getting ready to move out of town and try to, retire and all this stuff, I would have come work for you in a heartbeat. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, no, I wish I'd have met you 10 years ago. So that's how it
It's
goes.
still good. I'm that guy that if I'm in a lot and I hear somebody, dent guys know dent guys sound. When we're knocking down on a car, it. And I'm like, and
That's a
I'm the
dent
guy that walks over and I'm like, hey, I'm Ryan. Right up
Mhm.
in their lot or whatever. You know what I
Yep.
mean? I'm the first one. All the like Mikey and stuff would be like, you're crazy. You just rolling up on him like that. And I was like, he's no threat to me. You know what I mean? Like, we're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So, but I'm always that guy that rolls up. I'm like, hey, I'm Ryan. They're like, what the fuck? This guy just rolled up on me like that. And I'm like, hey, dude, it's even playing field. The more you know, the better you are. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's why I love MTE, because like that all disappears when you're at MTE, it seems like,
yeah.
But in your market, like I have a network in my market. I have a lot of friends in my market, but I don't want to be friends with everyone. Because
Yeah.
let's just say I lose a store and I want to go fix or go knock on some dealer doors or body shop. I don't want to have to like, well, whose dealer is or whose body shop is this, or whose dealers work, who's working this dealer?
If
Yeah.
your relationship is strong enough, you don't have to worry.
Well, yeah, like I I could call Dave Shalott. I'm sure he could give me work,
Yeah.
but if I
Funny
do a good
story.
job, I'll never have to worry about that, right?
Yeah.
So Dave Shalott, I have a friend that I grew up with. We've known each other since like we were in the 5th grade, and he was the first guy that our company hired on to work. And you know what his name is?
Huh.
David Shalott. and then I met Dave Shalott afterwards, and I was like, no way, there can't be 2 Dave Shalotts.
You
And
serious? There's 2 Dave Shalotts?
There's oh yeah, 100%.
Wow,
There's
we're all
Dave
screwed.
Shalott and there's David Shalott. They spell it different. They spell the
Okay.
last name different. But yeah,
We're
I know.
screwed.
Wow.
I know.
I don't know if the world could handle 2 David Shalotts.
It's the multiverse, man.
They're
Somehow they
probably
merge
opposites.
together.
They're probably opposites.
They're definitely opposites. They're definitely opposites.
Wow.
Well,
I
Steve,
love Dave Shalott has helped me become when I met Dave, I was doing dents for $45, dude.
Mhm.
No joke. No upsell. And he couldn't believe it, He tried to take my store and then realized he couldn't, and then helped me tremendously. Like,
Yeah.
I owe a lot to that guy. But I wonder if he's still watching. He's probably not.
he may be.
He's a great guy.
tell.
I've hung out with him.
Yeah.
Steve, I appreciate your help in the motorcycle world out there, with the app or your videos or communication when we talk at MTE. So it's definitely been helpful in our
man.
business. I appreciate you coming on. It's been a good show.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No problem. I
Thank
know
you.
we've been talking about doing this for a while.
Yeah.
A little while, like
Right.
2 years.
I met
Yeah.
And he was like, how about Stephen Hamby? Yep. It was like immediate, you know what I
Right.
mean? So,
Yeah, I think we talked about it at two
I do.
MTs ago. 2
yeah.
MTEs ago. Yeah.
Dang.
Like I said before, I used to have a book. I used to write everybody's name down. I'd be like, okay, they're going to come on. And I would schedule it out. Now I'm just like, somebody else figure it out. You know what
I
I
was
mean?
just like, Alex, who's coming on?
I'm driving. He's orchestrating. So, but I appreciate you coming on. We'll see you. And I hope you're coming to MT, right?
Yeah, I'll be there, bringing the family. They loved the event last year at the hotel and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good place for the kids and my wife to chill out and everything while I did my thing. It was good.
That's awesome.
Well, we will see you in almost a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little over a month.
Be here really quick.
Yeah. Well, you have a great night. I appreciate you coming on, and
Yeah,
Sure,
man.
we'll
Thank
catch
you.
up while we're out there.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to buy a motorcycle vice now.
Yeah, you are.
Put it on the hitch of
Yeah.
your truck. It'll be fine. See you, Steve.
See
All right,
ya.
man.
Do doubles.
Touch your
Both
face.
thumbs up.
Oh, there you go.
Look at that.
Oh, you're doing this, aren't you? That's you. It's been you this whole time. Look like a
Bye.
fairy. See you, man.
See
See you guys.
Oh,
What a good
shit,
guy,
man.
dude.
He is. He's a great rounded, dent
Individual.
guy. And he does a great job. He really does. So I can't wait till MT. I'm excited. Shame you're not coming because you don't have a hotel room.
I'm going. I already bought my plane ticket.
No.
You should be proud of me.
What are you sleeping in the rental car or some shit or what? Like,
No.
What are you doing?
No,
What are you
I'm
doing?
gonna stay off site.
You're crazy. You're gonna
10
miss all
minutes
the
away.
fun.
10
You're gonna
minutes
miss all
away.
the fun.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm bringing an interior guy from Arizona.
I'm bringing a detailer from Delaware, and it's weird because I was sitting at a Expel dinner last night in Virginia, and I'm sitting across from a guy I don't know. It's like backcountry in Virginia.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You ever go to MTE?" And I was like, "Yeah, all the time. It's a great event." We started talking, and then we were talking about Dr. Color Chip, and he's like, "That's one of the reasons I want to go. I know they do a presentation there." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Wow.
it's a great event. It's we talk for like an hour about it."
Are you speaking with them this year?
Yeah,
Again?
yeah, we'll work with Tony again. Yeah, I like Tony. Tony's great. That
Yeah.
whole group of people are a great team to work with, and I'm
He's
getting
a funny dude.
I'm getting even better and better at it. Every time we're using it. There's a lot of new stuff that we did this year to make it easier. Some of the guys that have bought it have struggled. A lot of it is it's kind of like dents. Like you really need to spend a weekend and just touch up, wipe it out, touch it up, wipe it out, touch it up,
Right.
find other ways. We're using their spot clear and their little spectrometer that's reading the color. And I took it out of their case, completely out of the Dr. Color Chip case and put it in a pack out, like a slider drawer pack out. And it's totally changed the game because you would have to take all those boxes off and open each one. And this is like literally pull the drawer and we have all the colors and numbered together.
Mm-hmm.
Every supply is in there and you just roll the whole cart around. It's just made a huge difference. Certainly for shop application.
Yeah.
But-
you don't have any of those kits like in a truck, like Josh doesn't carry any of them?
Every now and then we'll throw a little bit. Like I think me and Josh have like a black, a white, and a silver that we keep in the trucks, but
Mm-hmm.
mostly it's shop. I tell them all the time that if it needs touch up, it's got to come to the shop.
Yeah.
But
I wonder how long that paint
they
would
say
last
a year.
in the truck. In the
Not
truck.
long. Not long.
Yeah, in the truck.
They say a year. We shake ours. We used to shake them every month, but we're like every 2 months. One of us will get in there and just shake every paint. It does get a little thick at times. I just add some acetone in there and it loosens it up. But it's been, I'm still very happy with it. I'm huge happy with it. So,
Wow.
well, I'm going to bed.
Me
I
too.
will chat with you guys later. Thanks for watching. We will catch you on the next one and keep it real.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening to Dent Digest. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. For more information or to connect with your hosts, find them on social media at RPS Dent Specialist and at Arizona Paintless Dent Repair. If you found value in today's episode, please share with others. And until next time, this has